Thank you guys for being here. I know I've been absent. I don't know. I post a lot on Instagram, and I've talked about kind of what's been going on with me. My health has been sketch the past 3 weeks. I'm feeling a lot better. We got a few things figured out, but if you guys want a full video on it, I have more blood work tomorrow. My provider thinks he's kind of onto something, and it looks like we have it figured out. But I'm going to need a lot more testing, and I don't think everything is going to be done before we go to the Olympia. So if you guys are interested, I can do a sit-down video about that and show you guys like lab work and tell you what I've learned and all that good stuff. But today we're going to do a good old reaction video. I don't know if you guys can see Apollo. I don't think you can, but he's here. So this is a video. I think Justice found this for me. And it's called Body Positive and Fat Acceptance Definition. So, you know, it's going to be a good one. All right, let's do this.
As body positivity becomes more mainstream, I'm often getting questions about, well, what's the difference between being body positive and being fat positive? Can I be fat positive or body positive if I'm in a thin body? Like, how is body liberation?
Okay, so I know a lot of you guys know about the body positive movement and where it started, and there's a lot of argument about where it started and who it started for. And it actually, the body positivity and fat acceptance movement was really started by fat women in the 60s. And it's easy to Google. A lot of people think that it was started for people like who were coming home from the Middle East. You guys are probably not even old enough to remember Operation Desert Storm, which was in 1991. And those soldiers were coming back burned from the oil fields. And they're, you know, people coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, missing limbs and that kind of thing. But it's definitely, in my opinion, been so contorted and misconstrued as time has gone on that I don't agree with the body positivity movement and what it currently stands for right now. So, and she's talking about, I think, fat liberation, which fat liberation is losing the excess fat that you have. I definitely feel liberated from my fat of 310 pounds. So,
Liberation different? How is fat liberation different from that? So I thought I would run through a few definitions that I use in my work. Some of these are quotes.
I'm not sure who she is even, because she says in her work, so I'll have to look.
And I'm going to link those in the post so that you can see them, so that they get the proper attribution. Some of these are my interpretation, but these are the frameworks that I'm using in my own work.
Okay, tell me what they are.
And so when I say these words, here's what I mean by them. So body liberation, to start with. I'm going to do these alphabetically because that's the way I have them.
Okay, cool. Go.
So body liberation is the freedom from social and political systems of oppression that designate certain bodies as more worthy, healthy, and desirable than others. Body positive.
Okay, so worthy, healthy, and desirable, some over others. Okay, well, health is not like on a binary. Like, you know, you can be 300 pounds at 5'6" and 55% body fat, and I can tell you that you're not healthy. So I'd like to know what she means.
Activity, which came from the fat acceptance movement, which stemmed from the civil rights movement, is the concept that all bodies have worth as they exist today. So that is
her saying that it extends from the civil rights movement bothers me as well, because I don't think that that's right. I would like to know her. I want to see resources. I want to see sources for how body positivity came from the civil rights movement. That feels wrong. That feels offensive. It's not the same thing.
It is a certain subset of the fat acceptance movement, which is the concept that fat bodies are just as worthy as thin bodies and should be accepted as a natural part of human being.
Worthy of what? What do you mean by that? Like worthy? Okay, here's the thing. If somebody wants help to get healthy and get off the excess body fat and to be healthier, because I'm sorry, I have been morbidly obese and you can't convince me that there's anything healthy about that. It's not going to happen. And I just don't at me, as the kids say. So number one. And then I don't know what she means worthy of what. Yeah, of course I'm also not going to care more about your fat body than you care. If you come to me and you want my help and I give you the tools to get it done, meaning to get healthy and do what you want to do, and you don't do it, it's no skin off my nose. That's your life you have to live. And everybody has to get to a point where they are ready for change. And if you're not ready for change, it's not going to happen. And for some people, it takes a lot less. And for some people, it takes a lot more. And some people never change and they die in it early. So that's that.
Variation. Which is very similar to fat positivity, but fat positivity goes one step further. And fat positivity is the concept that fat bodies are not just worthy, but have a beauty and value of their own.
Okay, and beauty is subjective. I find it fascinating that there are so many different fetishes, and one that I'm learning more about because I've put myself on a public platform between here and my Instagram, my Tia Talks Instagram, is like muscle fetish or muscle worship, or just even videos of me training. There's a lot of men that get off on that. So beauty is subjective. And of course, there's going to be someone who finds you attractive no matter what. You know, we know about feederism.
So all of these things are a little...
But I don't think that it's a natural variation of the human body.
A little bit different. So a couple of other definitions that I use in my work are health...
I'm sorry, the weather changed here and I'm sniffly and...
at every size, which is the concept that every body can work towards its own version of health.
No, you can't work to your own version of health. Yes, like if you... Okay, I was just talking to someone the other day who is an athlete who was telling me that his blood pressure a few months ago was like 200 over 170, and they were like going to wheel him into the OR because they were waiting for him to just pop. And he changed his diet and gone on medication, and it's damn near normal now. So is that healthier than what he was? Obviously. But it's not your own version of health. Like, you can be healthier than you were a month ago or whatever, but I don't like this gray area. And science is not it's not shades of gray. Science is fact, and I hate this manipulation of it. It bothers me a lot.
At its current size. And health looks different for everybody.
No, it doesn't.
It is a very individual concept. Some people will never be what we consider healthy by mainstream standards, either because of lack of access or chronic illness.
Okay. So I call bullshit on this too. Lack of access. What the hell does that mean? Everybody can go outside and walk around. You can walk in your own house. I have had times where, when step trackers, like Fitbits and Apple Watches started coming out, and I was obsessed with the 10,000 steps. Before that, I was obsessed with the 10,000 steps because I wore a little pedometer that were like $5 that you could buy when we lived in Korea, and I made sure that I got 10,000 steps in, and that was in 2004 to 2006. Like, I've always been a little obsessive about it. Anyway, I digress. But access, like, there is something everybody can do even within your own house. And if most of us have smartphones and access to the internet, you can go on YouTube and there are a million free workout videos. I mean, during quarantine, the Chloe Ting challenge, everybody was doing it. She's made $1 bazillion off that video. So that bothers me too. That's an excuse to me. I've walked around the island in my kitchen getting my steps in. I don't.
So health may look different for every single person, and that's fine. but health at every size is the concept, or HAZE, is the concept that any human being can work towards what health means for them personally. Related to that is the concept of intuitive eating.
Okay, hold on. Let me back up. So health at every size is not a thing. It's not real. This is a made up concept. And there are studies. You can literally Google, can you be fat and healthy? And there are more and more studies coming out. I think there's been 3 or 4 just this year that have shown, no, that is not true. And now she's going on to intuitive eating. And intuitive eating kind of cracks me up, because if I went with intuitive eating, I would have been on my 600-pound life, because my intuition said to eat all of the things, and in mass quantities of it. I mean, I could eat some food in my time. And I even know people who are incredibly, like, they eat whole food, they prepare other meals and all that kind of stuff. And they've done whole food, they've tried intuitive eating, and I've seen them drastically undereat because they thought they were eating too much. And I've seen some of them overeat. So I just think, especially when people are obese and have eating issues, intuitive eating is the worst thing you can do. Because my intuition was to eat a fucking cheesecake every day. Like, I don't understand why they're like, oh, I know what's best for my body. You clearly are morbidly obese. No, you don't know what's best for your body, because you're killing it. And I'm sure I'm sure people are going to get pissed off that I said that, but it's the truth. And this comes from someone who has been there. Oh.
Just listening to your body and eating in accordance with what your body wants.
My body wants KFC. Not the ground turkey that I'm going to make after this with my rice and zucchini.
Let's see. Let's talk about privilege.
Okay, y'all, I'm about to blow my top, because when we start talking about privilege, this is the kind of shit that pisses me off. Sorry, my phone. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off, when you start telling me that I have some kind of privilege because I get my ass up at 5 o'clock every morning and go to the gym and train because I eat a certain way. That's called hard fucking work. And if that's going to make you the victim because, oh, I'm fat and I can't get on an airplane unless I buy 2 seats, and I can't go to Target and buy cute clothes because they don't make them in a size 35, that sounds like a you problem. That sounds like you should reevaluate your life when you can't find your clothing size in a store. You can only find it online. It's because that is abnormal, and you shouldn't be that big. So let's see what she says. I've already had a rant before she even talked about it.
Privilege a lot in my work, which is one of many privileges that you may or may not possess, or may possess in certain amounts. Privileges are spectrums. So I have less thin privilege than someone who is half my size, but I have more thin privilege than someone who is larger than I am, because I have more access to the world.
What the hell?
Privilege in itself.
Oh my God, I have more access to it. You can have all the access you want to the world. These people, Apollo, I'm frustrated. So people are doing this to themselves and limiting the access themselves. They did this to themselves. This is self-imposed. There's not someone with a feeding tube or a fucking funnel shoving milkshake down your gullet so that you get to 500 pounds so that you are immobile. Like, what the hell?
Is a set of unearned benefits given to people who fit into a specific social group. So when I talk about thin privilege, I'm talking about the varying amounts of privilege that you hold for belonging to the group of people who have thin bodies.
Such bullshit.
Marginalization is pushing a particular group or groups of people.
This should be titled, I'm a Victim 101 and How You Can Be Too. Let me give you labels for everything and tell you how you're a victim and how society's screwing you over and how everything should be accommodated for you. You should not have to change. You should just stay the way you are, and the world should accommodate you. That's some bullshit.
To the edge of society, by not allowing them an active voice, identity, or place in it.
Okay, wait a minute. So who doesn't, who, it's a, what? I feel like this stuff is like so offensive. How is this not offensive to more people's sensibilities? This is such garbage crap. It's bullshit.
Intersectionality is really entwined with those, pun not intended, is really intertwined with those previous two definitions. Because intersectionality is where those privileges and systems of oppression overlap.
The systems of oppression that you put yourself into. You've made this whole concept, you've labeled this systems of oppression. And then you have put yourself into that position to be a victim in your own mind. You are the only one in control of your life, of your body, what you put in your mouth. If you don't like how your life is going and how you don't fit into the world, literally, you physically don't fit, change it. And if you like being that way, then shut the fuck up and deal with it. You made the choice.
I am a very fat person, so I lack a lot of privilege in there, but I am also a white woman. And so that I have a lot of privilege in the color of my skin.
Okay, I'm not going to even talk about that because there are some new subscribers, which, hey, that don't know that my mom's from Mexico. So that this bothers me, and I'm not even going to talk about it because I'll lose my shit.
And my ethnicity. So intersectionality is where all these things mesh together. Let's see. Mindful eating. Mindful eating it's
not what you're doing.
Intuitive eating. It's not exactly the same. It's eating with the intention of feeling better when you're finished eating than you did when you started. And eating with the attention necessary for noticing and enjoying your food and its effects on your body.
Okay, so food enjoyment is going to be different to people who are super morbidly obese or morbidly obese because, okay, I have said this many times. I didn't get to 310 pounds because I liked steak and potatoes. I mean, I did. There is a psychological reason why I chose food as my drug of choice. And I tell people who are starting on any kind, of a fitness journey, a weight loss journey, to go into therapy because there is a reason why you are choosing food over other things because one, it's more socially acceptable than being a heroin addict. And you need to figure that out so that you can be taught better coping skills because if you do not, you will find another addiction. I have done it. I had a problem with pain pills. I had a problem with Xanax. Like, you will find something else until you figure out what is going on up here to make you want to numb whatever feeling you're trying to numb. You've got to address those things. This is crucial.
Weight stigma, which I talk about a lot, again, along with thin privilege. It's also known as weight bias, fat phobia, fat hatred, fatmisia, weight-based discrimination. These are all terms for the same concept, which is discriminating or stereotyping based on a person's weight.
Okay, so I feel like I have a pass on some of these things, which she's talking about, because I have been 310 pounds. And I have had I've had some fat jokes or some, there have been some inappropriate things. There's nothing that, besides my own family, like I have an uncle, and you're a stalker, so I'm sure you're watching this, and you suck because you said some super shitty things to 12-year-old me about my weight, which at 12 I was like 130 pounds. Like sometimes those things can come from within your own circle, like your family can be worse than who cares what strangers think? What strangers think of you is none of your business. Pay them no mind. And I have had stigma when I got really sick several years ago and dropped a bunch of weight. I was like, I have seen pictures of me, and I've said this before, I just looked like a melted candle, like it was so bad. You should eat a cheeseburger. And then I have men now who are like, oh, you're so pretty. You shouldn't lift heavier. You shouldn't train more intensely because you're starting to get too muscular. So everyone has an opinion. So if you're really body positive and fat accepting of yourself, why do you care what other people think? Because you're not going to change minds mostly. I don't think anybody should be discriminated against based on your weight, but sometimes people like this will say me having to buy 2 airplane seats is discrimination. Actually, it's not. It's not, because you're taking up more space. You're taking up twice the amount of space than I would, for example. I mean, I know bodybuilders and strongmen who buy 2 airplane seats because they're massive people. Should they file a discrimination suit against muscle-bound people, or against the airline because they're muscular? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to ask the world to conform to you when it's something about you, like being morbidly obese, that you have the power to change. Now, if you're in a wheelchair, obviously that's different.
It's a leading risk factor for eating disorders. It deprives fat people of health care.
Okay, and here's it deprives fat people of health care. Okay. This never happened to me, ever, when I was fat. I never had a doctor, I never came in for, a sinus infection and had them say, well, if you lost 100 pounds, you wouldn't have that sinus infection. Like, that never happened. Maybe they treated my sinus infection and then they said, hey, we need to talk about your weight, which your doctor should do. Because I hear so many of these fat activists who are like, you're not my doctor. Then when their doctor says something, they're fat phobic. What the fuck? They're supposed to talk to you about your health and tell you ways to save yourself. Ugh.
Let's see. The final one is the social determinants of health. And if you're not familiar with this concept is really important because it affects how we live and work and our health in ways that are really fundamental. So the social determinants of health are defined as the conditions and the places where people live, learn, work, and play that affect a wide range of health and quality of life risks and outcomes. And the one that's the most relevant to me is that your body weight and your body size are heavily affected by the social determinants of health, which include many, many more factors than just what you eat. It's your genetics. It's where
Okay, fuck me. Okay, if you look at especially the paternal side of my family, everyone's morbidly obese. We are talking 600-pound people, okay? On the Mexican side of my family, everyone's an alcoholic and has died from alcoholism, or some contributing factor to their alcoholism. I am neither an alcoholic nor a 600-pound person. Just because you have a genetic predisposition for something doesn't mean you should be like, well, fuck it, give into it. I just can, I'm just going to be fat. It is what it is. And I hate that expression too. It is what it is. It's lazy. It's laziness. You don't have to give into that. And I will tell you, I grew up with very little means, okay? I did not have help with paying for school. Bob's family, they're all ministers. They're all very educated. They don't make a lot of money as ministers. Bob lived in a parsonage all growing up. Bob and I have done quite well for ourselves. As far as here in America, you can come here and make something of yourself. Whatever you want to make of yourself, you can. That is the American dream. And when people talk shit about America, I'm like, why are people still trying to get here? If we suck so bad, why is everyone still trying to get here? Because you can do whatever you want. You don't have to accept your financial situation. You don't have to accept your health situation. You can change anything you want. There are options. There are resources. There are people who want to help. And, sorry. My blood pressure is probably jacked.
It's your skin color. It's your socioeconomic class.
I have black friends who are extremely successful and came from very little means. You do not have to accept where you have come from as that being your final destination in life. Just like you don't have to say, well, my parents are both fat, so I guess I'm just going to be fat. That's ridiculous. Because to me, that isn't, it's more, what's the word for it? It's more cultural, where it's more acceptable in certain families to eat. Like, if you ever went to a get together when my grandmother was alive, holy crap, the food. I mean, I have a really long, like the table I'm sitting at right now, my dining table seats 8. And the table would have been full of food. And I mean, just ridiculous amounts of food. And we would eat for like 4 hours, you know, like that was normal, and just disgusting amounts and of the worst things. And that was acceptable.
It's your
when you know better, you do better.
Social support network. It's your job. It's your level of environmental pollution around you. It's many, many different things that affect weight in addition to just what you eat.
I want to see science. Okay, so she's done. I want to see science-based. I want to see her resources. I want to see this. I'm so frustrated now. But I know that most of you guys who watch me are similarly minded to me about all of this, and this gets incredibly frustrating for me because I don't know. It's very frustrating for me to see people making excuses for living less than the best they can possibly live. And that's, if you guys want help, you can reach out to me. All of my contact information, my Instagram and my email are in the bio. I am happy to help you wherever you are, find resources, or I can help you, to a pretty good degree. If you don't like where you're at in any part of your life, you can change it. So that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you in the next one. And let me know if you're interested in hearing about everything my doctor said. All right, thanks. Have a good one. Bye.